Hey, what's up, guys? Bobby K here, man. I just want to make it a little thing before we start. We're scheduled for 9 o'clock. They usually start right on time, guys. But tomorrow, 9 o'clock, we'll be trading live, guys. Today, every day we trade live at 9 a.m. on this same channel. So like and subscribe, set the notifications, especially if you're interested in, if you're interested in forex. Today we got 250 pips. We've got over a 90% win rate, and we do it live, guys. So it's awesome. So with that, guys, we're getting ready here. They'll be here in a minute. Like I said, they'll be there right on time. So with that, guys, without further ado, we're just gonna wait for them, and we're gonna get rolling. Yeah, I've been trading every day on YouTube for a couple of years now, guys. We got a high win rate. We meet every day, 9 a.m. every weekday. We focus on US 30 and NAS and gold. So let's see what we got tonight, guys. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow on the live stream. Enjoy the presentation. Guys, this is going to be a hot project, man. Once the coin's up 50% over the last week, and we're almost ready to really put the whole thing together. They're still building stuff, but we're getting there, man. Okay, just waiting for them to pop on. You'll see me up on the screen, Bobby K, during the webinar. Guys, in the description, I put the link. If you want to check out Sosana, click the link, check it out. Wow, they're running a little late, man. I'm surprised. They're usually right on time. It's all good in the hood, man. Here we go, guys. I'll see you tomorrow on the live stream.
Hey, what's up, Sosana family? What's up, everybody out there in crypto world? And welcome to this call. We are about to get started here. We're probably going to be about 2 minutes away from getting started right now. But welcome, new people. I see some new names out there. And welcome, Sosana family. Welcome. We'll just give us a couple minutes and we'll be getting this call started.
Last call of the week again.
I know, Thursday. Surprised every time.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It always does, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And welcome to this call. We're about to get started here. We're probably going to be about 2 minutes away from getting started right now. Welcome, new people. I see some new names out there. And welcome, Sosana family. Welcome. So I would say we got about another 60 seconds, folks. Just giving everybody a chance to hop on. Hang back with us. Let's see here. Into the community. What's up, T. Hansen, Lonnie, Israel? Good to see you guys, Lori. Good to see you. All right. Here we go. Ready to get started.
Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome once again, everybody. Welcome, Sosana family. Welcome those of you that are live. Welcome new people. I see some new names out there. Welcome. We're excited to have you guys here tonight. And all of you that by now, well, not by now, but by then, I guess, are listening to this recording from all over the world, we welcome you also. Great to have you all with us. So we're going to get started tonight. we're going to give you the Sosana overview, the vision, why we believe this project in its early stages is ultimately destined to just go viral. And Brian's going to bring out a great visual presentation for you guys. Brian, why don't you go ahead and just get us started, buddy?
Absolutely, Mark. Well, and you made a good point there. While I'm starting to share my screen, that we do have people that are watching these recording webinars from all over the world, and it's always a great reminder of the global nature of what it is that we put together. And anybody, right, anywhere in the world has the opportunity to see this, to seize it, to get excited about it, and then to ultimately become a part of this Sosana family. And we are looking forward to those times when we are, hearing these different success stories from around the world, and we see a lot of people that often join us from different places. But as it gets bigger and bigger, and different Sosana communities start setting up around the world, we've set up our community hub for people to be able to find each other, if they're part of the Sosana community in different local places, which is going to become really, really cool as we start seeing this entire vision coalesce. So with that said, guys, let me get set up. I want to move my Zoom controls because they always block me, and it's weird because I can't see anything. Okay, there we go. So guys, listen, my job tonight is simple. As always, it's to share with you this incredible project. The reason somebody called you and said, hey, you got to take a look at this. Not just you got to take a look at it, but you got to take a look at it now. I want to show you what they were talking about, how Sosana literally is reshaping how people get to profit in the crypto space. And it is exciting because if you really think about it, it's what everybody's looking for. I mean, every single person who's ever purchased any crypto token or coin ever, they all have the same thought. Is that after they purchase it at some point in time in the future, a second from now, a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, or later, or longer, they were going to be able to sell it at a higher price and thus make a profit. And we want to show you why Sosana is tilting that in your favor, setting you up where, again, there's no crystal balls here. We can't make guarantees, but setting you up where you can get to a position where, because of what you're going to achieve through the utility that's offered by Sosana, it's going to tilt it in your favor, that potentially you're going to be able to find a lot more profitable projects. Before we explain that, though, let's talk about this. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some examples, as is Mr. Mark Ross, when I'm completed. He's going to show you some real-world examples of what's happening in the crypto space, where we fit in, and where we see this going. We'll show you some illustrations, some projections, but again, the crystal ball's in the shop, right? We're not financial advisors, so we're not trying to give you professional financial advice, so please don't take it that way or think that that's what we're trying to tell you it is. In fact, we're trying to tell you the opposite. What we want you to do is simply this: sit back, relax, listen to what we're talking about. If it connects the dots for you in your brain, if it makes sense, then go out and do your own research. Take a look at who we are, at what we're doing. Think about if what we're talking about makes sense, and then if it does, simply look at your own level of risk. What are you comfortable with, and then engage based off of those things, those factors. With that said, guys, I'm going to share with you why cryptocurrency, why this sector, this financial sector, really is deserving of your capital investment. Also, though, what the biggest problem is in cryptocurrency right now, and how Sosana has perfectly been engineered to solve that problem, and then why the timing has never been better to engage with this project if you're looking to get in at the beginning of something that we believe will ultimately become a runaway train. Now, even if you're not a crypto expert, you don't understand blockchain technology and tokenization of things, et cetera, chances are you have at the least heard of Bitcoin. In fact, most people in the world have heard of Bitcoin. It's been called the free market miracle because it's done something that no other financial asset has ever done. If you had purchased simply $1 worth of Bitcoin back in 2009, when you could have gotten one Bitcoin for 1/3 of a penny. That's right. You could have gotten 3 Bitcoin for a penny. If you had gotten $1 worth of Bitcoin back then and held it until October of 2025 when it hit its all-time high, that $1 initial investment would have been worth over $41 million. If that sounds like an insane return, it should, because it's the greatest return of any financial asset in the history of mankind. And as you might imagine, even though back in the beginning people were, hey man, it's just digital money, it's not real, it's fake, it's not going to last, it's a Ponzi, all these things they said about Bitcoin and about crypto, when you become the #1 returning financial asset in the history of mankind, well, there's an inevitable evolution, right? Cryptocurrency is no longer an experiment. It's no longer weird. It's no longer something that's going to fall apart and et cetera, et cetera. It's now this $1 trillion asset class that has shattered all the records and has attracted hundreds of millions of people. But even with that level of success, we're still just at the tip of the iceberg, with the expectation that blockchain technology will continue to be utilized for more and more aspects of daily life, that more and more assets will be tokenized, et cetera. There is a belief that at some time in the future, the majority of people on the planet will be engaging in cryptocurrency in some form or format. Meaning, if you're hearing about it right now, you're still an early adopter, and there's still a lot of opportunity to be had. Now, even just at this small level of adoption, it's already created a new class of wealth. Over 170,000 millionaires, hundreds of centimillionaires, dozens of billionaires. But most people, they did not get started in cryptocurrency early. They didn't buy Bitcoin back in 2009 or 2010 and 2011 and simply hold it until 2025. They didn't do that. So because they missed that, but they realized how massive the potential is now, everyone is looking for the next Bitcoin, that next big token project that can grow by 100x, 1,000x, 10,000x, etc. And everyone has an opinion as to what that token project is. Doesn't matter. It could be your barber, your nail salon tech, your coworker. Everybody's got an opinion of what the next big project's going to be, but opinion does not equate to strategy, guys. Here's what we did. We built Sosana based off of facts. Here's the first devastating fact. 84% of all retail crypto investors, they lose money in their first year. So again, they're buying these tokens with the expectation of selling them at some point in time in the future. And after 1 year of doing it, they are losing money. Some of them, all of their money. And it's because they don't understand how to navigate this space. Right now, according to the CEO of Coinbase, there are over 1 million tokens a week being launched every single week. And not because there's a million new great ideas. Think about the setup. You have this incredible industry. You have a bunch of people. It's $1 trillion space, and you have a lot of people getting involved in it. They're very excited, but they are also not educated enough about crypto to understand how to tell the difference between a real project and a fake project, between the treasure and the trash, if you will. And as a result, it sets up perfectly for scammers, to launch into this space over and over again with fake token projects, and ultimately simply set up to separate people from their hard-earned capital. It is estimated that somewhere between 97 and 99% of the projects that are being launched are not real. They're simply being launched to take advantage of people's lack of understanding of the space so that they can separate people from their money. But if you can imagine the feeling of being immersed into a space, you're looking for a project where you can win, and you're constantly hearing about tokens every second, right? 1 million new tokens a week, and you're being bombarded. It starts to create something that has become the biggest problem in this space, which is shiny object syndrome. This inability to focus in, to do your research, to study, because you're constantly being hit with the hype spike. Somebody's texting you, just get in now, get in now. It's pumping, you're missing it. And everybody gets emotional. They don't want to feel like they're going to be the only one that's missing out and that's left out of the winnings. So they just jump in with their limited capital. They jump onto a chart, not understanding what it's all about, how it works, where it's going, etc., what the top points are, etc. No business strategy at all. And they're pretty much guaranteed to lose because that was the point in the first place. The token was simply designed to get people hyped up that didn't know what they were doing and take their money. And once you realize that, and you've lost a bunch of your money, and just when you're starting to try to figure out what happened, you get another text. You see another YouTube video. Somebody else that's an influencer tells you, this is the one. You got in too late last time. Just jump in. And people do it again and again and again. They go around what we call the doom loop. And so finally, they are completely out of money. They've lost all their faith, and they exit the industry, guys. Listen, I'm telling you something. If that keeps happening and it's never addressed, we will never get the mass adoption of the crypto space that we're looking for, which will allow all of us to create incredible success just for being early adopters. We literally created Sosana to address that. Even our name, Sosana, stands for Shiny Object Syndrome and Nothing Accomplished. It was an homage to all of the people that have been impacted by the dreaded syndrome, and that is present company included. Myself, Mr. Mark Ross, I'm sure many of the people watching, probably yourself as well. We've all done this. We've all kind of gotten sucked into that doom loop before, and we didn't even understand what was happening until we were losing our money, and we're looking for a better way, and that's what Sosana is. Guys, we created this 3-part safe haven based around our community, our Sosana school, and then our D-Gen voter system. Now, our community is a secure ecosystem developed to keep the scammers out. You're going to get early signals from verified and vetted projects. Our school is designed to teach you a critical skill set. How exactly do you determine if a token project is worthy of your investment? Is it real? Is it not real? What are the fundamentals you should actually search for? And I promise you, whether you're at a basic or intermediate or advanced level, it doesn't matter. We've got courses set up specifically for you to bring you along into this crypto space. But what I want to focus on is this 3% ecosystem tax that acts as the fuel that drives the entire Sosana engine. You see, what we've done is set it up so that every buy, every sell, every transfer features a transparent 3% tax that does 2 things for us. One is it keeps the bots off of our chart. If you've ever been involved in a project before with no ecosystem tax, you notice that there are different bots that are all over your charts, literally leeching liquidity from the community. We didn't want that. That 3% tax makes it very expensive for them to do their little fast, quick hit, small margin victories. So we set that up. The second is that we wanted to provide this fuel that would drive this entire process. 1%, so 1/3 of that tax is going to go towards our stability wallet. That's going to ensure that we're around for decades and not just days. Another 1% goes to marketing, where half of it is going to go towards our pre-launch voter reward system, which is very similar to the D-Gen voter wallet, but only for pre-launch tokens, thus giving you the ability to access pricing that may never even be seen by the public. And then the other half will go towards traditional marketing to create more brand awareness and help to push us towards becoming a viral concept. But the final 1%, that's where I want to focus on, that golden 1%. That is for our D-Gen voter wallet, which is at the center of this entire D-Gen voting system. Now, guys, the way that this works is we are teaching an army of people how to really go out and evaluate. Again, how do they filter out the treasure from the trash? How do they identify the real projects? If 97 to 99% are fake projects or scam tokens or low supported tokens designed to simply separate you from your capital, how do they actually identify that 1 to 3%? And then within that 1 to 3%, find the tokens that have the very best chance of actually becoming successful, so those people who are hoping to buy a token at one price and sell it at a higher price have the greatest opportunity of being able to make that desire become their reality. We teach those people, we train those people. And as they're out there and they're looking throughout the crypto sphere, right now we're focused on the Solana blockchain, but we'll become more blockchain agnostic, and eventually this will be across the entire crypto sphere. As they're out there searching, when they find a project that they believe is worthy of additional review by our entire community, they can simply nominate that token project. Every 2 weeks, we run a nomination and voting cycle, which is the power behind this D-Gen voter system. In a nomination period, we will accept up to 25 token nominations in any one period. Once that is completed, that 1 week of nominations is over. That following week, we release all of the nominated projects to our community. Our community as a whole will then go do their research. They'll compare these projects against each other. They'll find out, even amongst these incredible tokens, which one is elite and deserves to be elevated to the front of the line. And they'll vote for that token project, knowing that whichever project wins, as a community, we are going to support that token project. So here's the process. If you are out there evaluating these projects and you find one that you believe is worthy of being nominated, as long as you're holding $500 or more of Sosana tokens in your wallet, you can nominate that token project for additional review by the community. If your token project that you nominated is ultimately the one that receives the most amount of votes, you're going to get a financial reward, so you're going to get paid. Now, the other side of that is that as long as you're holding $50 or more in your wallet, you can vote for one of the nominated projects. So as long as you're holding $50 or more of our Sosana token, you can go do your research and then put in your vote for that particular project. And if you vote for the project that ultimately receives the most amount of votes, you also get paid. The key thing I want to point out is that this is hold to play, not pay to play. It doesn't cost you $500 to nominate, doesn't cost you $50 to vote. You simply need to be holding that amount of tokens in your wallet, and you can actually nominate and vote over and over and over again by holding the same tokens. You don't have to pay every time that you nominate or that you vote. Now, guys, where this gets exciting at is that at the end of every 2 weeks, the community is going to vote and a winning token is going to be crowned. At that point is when the DGen wallet becomes effective, because that DGen wallet has been collecting that 1% of every transaction for the last 14 days. It is then going to be utilized to buy tokens. Half of the DGen wallet will go towards buying the winning token. Let's say it was token X. So half of that wallet will go towards buying token X tokens, and then the other half will go towards buying Sosana tokens. And we're looking to create a splash on both charts every 2 weeks. Now, all of those tokens are taken and they're aggregated together, and then they're simply divvied out evenly to all of the winning voters. So if you, again, nominated the proper token, you got paid. If you simply voted for the proper token, you also got paid. But even if you neither nominated nor voted for the right token, you're still in position to be able to earn revenue because of what we call the 1 hour frontline advantage. You see, every 2 weeks on a Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, when our voting cycle ends, we are going to announce to all of the people in the Sosana community worldwide that are qualified to receive this information, meaning they simply holding $50 or more in their wallet. As long as they're holding that, they'll be qualified to receive the information, and they will get the announcement of who actually won the vote. So that's some valuable information because of this next factor. 1 hour later, at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, we will use the DGen voter wallet to buy the winning token directly off of their chart. Think about that for a moment. Everybody knows that if you're looking to position yourself in front of a big event that could potentially drive up the price of a token, it's a purchase, a big purchase, if you would know about it in advance. So as we get bigger and bigger, the size of the DGen wallet gets bigger and bigger, the size of those purchases get bigger and bigger. And you're getting a 1 hour frontline advantage to position yourself in front of it. So if we find a project that we believe has strong fundamentals, the ability to grow, and the ability to become a runaway train, we give you a 1 hour advance notice of our big purchase, thus giving you some true leverage over the rest of the world. We then make that purchase 1 hour later, helping to hopefully push up the price of that chart as well. And as we get bigger and we're pushing it up high enough, that becomes a beacon that lights up on all of the exchanges around the world to the rest of the crypto investors in the world that are not affiliated with Sosana, who simply see that a project that they've never heard of before, Token X, just increased by 300%, 500%, 1,000%, in 15, 20 minutes. They get excited. They react like they always do with their fear of missing out. They then jump into our play after you position yourself, thus giving you more rocket fuel out of the gate with the position that you've taken in your crypto portfolio. Guys, this is absolutely amazing. This is the ultimate edge in crypto investing. Actionable intel every 2 weeks for the rest of your life. And as we get bigger and bigger and bigger, the impact becomes more profound. In fact, there'll be a point where we move from this predictive nature where we're sitting around and we're looking at all the fundamentals, we're crunching the numbers, we're analyzing the people who actually launched the token, et cetera, and say, okay, great, this is a token we believe will grow. And then we're actually supporting that project and we're looking for all of those factors that actually come to fruition. We'll move from that, which is predictive, to market making. Because as you might imagine, when we've got 10,000 people that are part of our Sosana community who all get the information that Token X is the winner 1 hour in advance, if they just simply decided to buy $100 each of Token X, that's $1 million pouring into that token, potentially a small cap token in an hour, then backed by a purchase from the DGen voter wallet on top of that, then backed by all the people that are getting excited around the world, seeing that type of growth happen in this token in a compressed period of time. Guys, it's no longer us wondering if we're going to drive it up. It's now just going to happen because of the nature of how crypto investing is working in this space. Guys, we are talking about something that people have been looking for forever in this space, and they haven't found it until now. We call this process that we're looking at crowdsourced intelligence. We know that one person can't scan millions of tokens and have any level of success. Not to be able to pick winners consistently, they're just too overwhelmed. But an educated army of hundreds and then thousands, tens of thousands or more, they can go out and they can successfully scan, again, initially the Solana network, but eventually the entire crypto sphere. They can filter out the garbage. They can find the true elite tokens, bring them back to our community every 2 weeks, and be in a process where we can evaluate, further clarifying down to the most elite tokens, present them to the community first, have them take their positioning in their portfolio first, and then releasing it to the rest of the world and setting our people up and the possibility chance to win time and time again. Again, we can't make guarantees, but if you think about the mechanics of what we're doing, this not only makes sense, it's set up to make people profit, and that's what we're excited about. I'm telling you guys, if you think about the way that things have happened up to this point, this lone wolf mentality of going out and just moving based off of fear of missing out and guessing and getting in the pumps just in time for them to dump on top of your head and bleed out capital. Guys, that way is going to be over. It's going to be replaced with the Sosana path mentality, crowdsourced intelligence, degen voting and verified curation, the 1 hour frontline advantage, allowing you to get started first, and the ability for us to truly aggregate wealth together. We knew when we created this, I knew the very first time I heard this concept from Mark Ross and David Track, I knew that this was going to become one of the most viral concepts that existed in the entire crypto sphere. But we still wanted to pour more gasoline on the fire, so we created the Sosana Member Rewards Program to give additional leverage here. Two things we wanted to do. One is financially incentivize you to go out and spread the word about this as fast as we could, so we could ultimately get to that point of market making and that tipping point where that was going to happen as quick as possible. The other was provide a rewards metric system where people who were supporting our token early, the people who were going to be here in the foundational stages, that were going to be willing to ride with us on the ups and downs as we started to submit this program, guys, those people were set up where they could still accumulate as many tokens as possible while the token was at a low price so they could get the biggest reward later. For that reason, we created an affiliate platform that offered some additional ways for people to earn revenue. One is as they enrolled new affiliates who decided to take advantage of the benefits we were providing there, you could earn additional tokens for those new enrollments. And two, as those people maybe decide to upgrade to get more benefits, we'd actually be able to pay you more tokens as well. Three, as they actually accepted any of our offers that we would provide, if they took advantage of those, you could actually earn again. And finally, as they renewed with us every year to continue to get those benefits, you could earn again. We knew that would give people the ability to earn more and more tokens. Again, earning a potential appreciable asset is far better than earning dollars in the beginning, and we'll show you why in a second. But even once we have that, we wanted to provide one extra layer of leverage, so it wouldn't just be based off of your own efforts, but you'd have a leverage component as well. So we created this as a 3-level affiliate reward system. And all that meant was, listen, your first level would be all the people that you personally referred, so you'd earn a percentage once they were actually going through any type of commissionable activities. But if they referred people as well, other affiliates, you'd earn a percentage from what they were doing, and so on and so on. So through 3 levels, you're going to earn these percentages. Now, this is purely optional. So we wanted to say, hey, let's give some incentive, even though it's optional, for you to go out and become prolific at it, which means we created a ranking system. So as you became more prolific, you could move up our ranks. And once you got to the levels of hodler and whale, not only would you be earning more from the efforts of these affiliates that were coming on board, you'd also now tap into our global bonus pool system. We're taking a 2% override off of all worldwide applicable volume and putting it into these bonus pools. And as you qualify for them, you would get a monthly bonus reward that's going to be representative of a share of these bonus pools that you're qualified for. That could come to you month after month after month. As we begin to grow, as we begin to create the escape velocity, we believe that these bonus rewards will be some of the largest that have ever been paid out in the entire cryptocurrency space, but also be long lasting, because ultimately what we're setting up is a system that people, once they become aware of and they join, they'll never want to not be a part of. When will it ever stop being desirable to get potential winners every 2 weeks? for the rest of your life. People are going to come back over and over and over again. Now, I mentioned that getting paid an appreciable asset can be far superior to getting paid in dollars, as we call that the multiplier effect. Just imagine for a second that you started as an affiliate with us right now, and you went out and you just put in enough effort to earn $100 in commissions tonight. Right now, $100 may not be a lot of money to you, but understand this. If our token was just at 20 cents when you did that activity, you'd be rewarded with 500 tokens. If you simply held that asset in your portfolio into some point in time in the future, let's say when the price got to $10, that same $100 in tokens that you got initially would now be worth $5,000. And that's what people understand that are in this space, that when they can accumulate an appreciating asset and they can get it at the lowest possible price, they can set themselves up for huge potential windfalls. That's why this is so exciting to people. Now you take that and you combine it with this from a timing aspect, which is the power of a fixed supply. If you haven't seen our website yet, Sosana.io, please visit it. You can find our light paper there and you'll see all of our distribution mechanics. But here you're going to notice something. We're only ever going to have our maximum total supply of tokens that will ever be available in the world will be 88,888,888 tokens. That's it. And guys, we're putting it on a 6-year distribution schedule. What we did in the very beginning is we took about 50 million tokens and we locked them up into a smart contract. And the way that it works is that for the first year, we're calling that a 1-year cliff period, right? 1 year from launch, for 1 year, no new tokens will be distributed. After that 1 year is up, then we go into a 5-year slow daily drip period. Well, for the next 5 years, every day, a small amount of tokens will come out until finally all tokens are in distribution 6 years from launch. What that means is that right now, as you're listening to this or watching this live, you find yourself in the middle of the 1-year cliff period where no new additional tokens are being released. But you also find yourself in a period where we're engaging in marketing, attracting new affiliates, getting the word out, driving us towards becoming that viral conversation so that demand can be greatly increased, but supply will remain the same. When you take those two factors and you put them together, increased demand with fixed supply, normally the result is massive price increases. That means right now is the very best time to be taking a look at this project and engaging if it makes sense to you. We're teaching you how to level up your skills so you can go out there and hunt the very best projects if that's what you want to do. Our voter reward system is going to isolate winners every 2 weeks. That's going to then allow you to be able to earn in the multiple ways that we just spoke about. And you're being rewarded right now for inviting, because if you invite to this community, you help to grow the network and you make our intel even stronger. Remember, 100 people out looking throughout the different cryptosphere networks to find the best projects. That's better than you trying to do it on your own. But 100 is not as good as 1,000, is not as good as 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, et cetera, et cetera. The more people we attract to the community, the more people we have out there looking for elite level projects, the better the projects will be that come back to us, and the better the clarification process will be as we go through our voting mechanism. And then finally, the more impactful the market making will be when we pick that one project every 2 weeks that we collectively will support. We are going to get to a point where we're driving projects to the moon in the matter of just one night. Guys, this is working because we're talking about this $1 trillion asset class that has a huge problem, and we are the ones who have figured out how to solve that problem and get rid of that wealth killer. We'll be using crowdsourced intelligence. No one else is doing that. We're offering multiple pathways to profit. And again, we just talked about the timing. If you like what you see, the person who invited you can give you one of an affiliate link. You'll have the opportunity when you click on that link, you'll see a basic affiliate, premium affiliate. You'll see all the benefits associated with each, and you simply decide which one makes the most sense to you. But here's what I want you guys to focus on. This is something that crypto investors truly understand. The ones who hit it big, this is how and why they play in this space. They understand that early accumulation at the lowest price creates the highest multiples. We launched our token project back in September of 2025 at 1/10 of a penny. What that means is that when we just got the 1 penny, you were already 10x if you had gotten it at the very beginning. So $100 would have been $1,000. $1,000 would have been $10,000 if you understand what we mean when we say multiples. Now, guys, when we got the 10 cents, that was 100 times growth at simply 10 cents. You're starting to understand where we're going, guys. Ultimately, at 50 cents, it'll be 500 times growth. At $1, it'll be 1,000x project already. And people are predicting that this is going to go to the stratosphere. We're hearing people talk about $100 and beyond at some point in time in the future. And what that means is that even if you did not get started at the beginning, even if you're hearing about it right now today, you're still in a position before the biggest viral and multiple growth is going to happen, where you can actually figure out how to accumulate tokens, either by buying them or simply by earning them through our affiliate program, and setting yourselves up to ride this wave, the wave that all early investors are ultimately looking for. Guys, we offering you the edge that every single person in the crypto space is looking for, the ability to find winning projects. Think about this. We have a token project on its own that people are predicting will not only be 1,000x token, but way, way beyond that. Think just at $1, we're 1,000x token. And again, we're talking way beyond that type of growth. But that's a project we're offering in Sosana, but Sosana's only utility, the only thing we're focused on, the only thing we're going to continue to get better and better at is putting you in front of other potential massive X growth projects every single 2 weeks for the rest of your life. Again, at no point in time will that ever get old for people, which means once people come to our community, they will remain massively engaged. And the more they're engaged, the more they're holding the token, the more they're sharing with other people, the more the potential price increases are. If that sounds good to you, there's normally 3 types of people that are here at this point. The first type says, listen, I am more interested in the passive play. That's where my big focus is. So I want to figure out how I can do this passively. That's simple. Talk to the person who buys you. They'll tell you, but the first thing you do is simply download a Phantom wallet. The second thing you do is stock it up with Solana tokens, because we're on a Solana blockchain. And then right within the Phantom wallet, you can swap Solana for Sosana, and now you can sit back and enjoy the ride, guys, and be a part of the passive play. Simply stock your portfolio with as many Sosana tokens as you feel comfortable with and enjoy the ride. Second type of person says, listen, I not only want to, earn passively, but I also want to go out and be engaged more aggressively by going out and sharing this with people, helping other people learn how to share it, et cetera, getting us towards that tipping point. So I actually want to be an affiliate, but I've got some questions. As the person invited, you can get your questions answered. If not, they can connect you with one of the leaders who can do that. And at that point, once they've done that, you guys just take all 3 steps, right? Download the wallet, get the tokens, and then register through their link as an affiliate. Third type of person says, man, I never could quite figure out why me just simply jumping on project after project after project that I was being hyped up about was resulting in loss after loss until you showed me that that's what 84% of the people are doing, and that's why they're losing. You could have stopped right there. The fact that you guys have found a solution to that, I am all in. If that's you, you're the third type of person who's really ready to go right now. The person who invites you can give you their link right now. You can go through these 3 steps, and let me be the first to say, welcome to the Sosana family. Now, with that said, guys, I want you to understand where we are right now in today's crypto space. And I mean right now, I mean tonight as we're recording this. And Mr. Mark Ross does a better job of this than anybody I've ever seen by showing you the actual crypto charts today, what's happening on those charts today, what's been the volume today, and what the projections are based off of what those tokens are doing as to what can happen for Sosana in the real world. So with that said, Mark, I'm going to turn the call over to you, sir.
Excellent job as always, Brian. I don't know where you get all the energy. Every single time you bring the energy, it's incredible. Awesome job. So, folks, I don't say this a lot, but I got to tell you, it's been unbelievable that we've been in development for like a year and a half. We've been in that development phase, and we have come so far. Those of you there's people here tonight that have been with us from the beginning. I mean, it's amazing, and I'm so thankful for all of you. But there's new people showing up, and it's amazing that we've gotten through this development phase, and now we're into a place where we can grow because everything's been developed. Everything that needs to be in place is there. And so now it's just get in the car and drive it. And that's what we're doing right now. We are focused now 100%, I'd say at least 95% on marketing. That's our focus. And so some really big things are about to develop. I can't go into the specific details, but it's a really exciting thing. And I'll tell you, voting and discovering alone is actually groundbreaking when it comes to crypto. I don't know any communities out there on the planet that are actually taking their communities, giving them a safe place where they can discover projects with this crowdsourced intelligence by voting for their favorite project and then discovering a project that we want to allow. Keep this in mind, those nominations as they come in the first week, we want to allow the scams in, right? So we're protecting our community. Brian just outlined for you that 84% of people that get into crypto fail within their first year. They lose money. And our goal is to help change that trend dramatically, to exponentially increase people's chances of finding quality projects. Because the number one problem, as we've clearly identified, as Brian laid out, is the shiny object syndrome. That's the number one problem. That's it. I don't think anybody can even argue that. Let's face it, millions of projects floating around. And it's not only the number one problem for crypto investors, but most importantly, for quality projects. All these investors would do anything to find quality projects, anything they could do. And they can't find them because those quality projects themselves are drowned out from all these shiny objects. So it's an amazing way to allow people to come into a growing community like that. But keep this in mind, that alone is not what we are. We're so much more. We actually are going to allow you guys to, get rewarded for that process. It's just an amazing thing. And I want to tell you the stats so far. We've had 12 elections, okay? And the reality is, you guys are going to probably laugh at me, but we're not even any good at this yet. We have a very, very small community. Brian clearly showed you that the bigger we get as a community, the better the elections get. Why? Because you have more refined voting. You have a bigger crowdsourced intelligence. A bigger community is going to sift, sort, and refine more projects, better nominations, better voting, because it's a bigger, crowdsourced intelligence. It's a bigger community. And so it gets better and better and better. And you know what? Even though we're just touching the surface here, scratching the surface, is that 4 out of 12 of our elections have featured projects that if you'd have been there on election day, up to between then and now, you could have made anywhere from 5 times as much as 30 times your money just buying one of those projects on election day. 4 out of 12. I don't know you, but I don't know about you guys, but I've never gone out and talked to crypto investors that say, yeah, if I ask them and I'm talking about people that invest a lot, like they roll the dice, they're looking for projects, they're always looking for something. And ask them, do you have a 33% win rate in finding winning projects? That is actually really rare. Okay. There's people out there that pay for so much less. I mean, there's people out there that literally pay subscriptions from people who they're hoping will bring them quality projects. And they pay for that. Here, all you got to do is hold $50 in Sosana to participate. It's crazy, the value. All you got to hold is $500 in Sosana if you want to nominate. If you think you're one of those people that can help our community find quality projects. And as we said earlier, the bigger our community gets, the more people are going to come into our community and nominate those projects. So I had to tell you guys that, but let me show you some numbers. And before I get into these numbers, what I'm going to show you with these examples is so powerful that I have to preface it first with this, that what I'm about to show you is not a guarantee of income, okay? It's not financial advice. It's not predictions. I'm going to show you simple cause and effect. I'm going to show you what the industry has done, what it's doing, and we're going to put Sosana in play, and we're going to see what could happen, okay? First thing I want to do, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at the coin market cap. So when you see the coin market cap, the first thing I always go to look at, the very first thing I look at is the fear and greed index. Why? Because it takes a temperature on where the market is right now, and the market is in the midst of fear. I remember just last Tuesday, it was barely in the neutral zone. It has rolled back into the fear, and just a few weeks ago, it was in extreme fear. But I got to tell you, unlike what most investors see when they look at this, most people, they look at this and say, maybe this isn't a very good time. There's not a lot of liquidity coming into the marketplace. I think I'm going to kind of just watch. I'm going to kind of hang back and watch. Folks, that's one of the biggest mistakes you'll ever make in investing. Haven't you ever heard of the old adage, buy low, sell high? And when everybody else is sleeping and scared and running away from the market and selling, that's when you should be scooping up bargains. I mean, Bitcoin's down almost 50% from its all-time high. And you know what that means? As Bitcoin goes, so goes the market. And so you see when Bitcoin catches a cold, the rest of the market gets the flu. And that's what happens. And you see these trends. And I'm going to talk about this trend, a very interesting thing. I want you to hang around to the end because I'm going to tell you something, kind of a theory that I have that we'll see if it plays out, but I think it makes sense, and I'm going to bring that up about this trend. But what I want to do also initially is just show you a comparison. I like to bring up meme coins. And the reason why I like to bring up meme coins is because the funny thing is, meme coins are actually not the greatest comparison. I mean, we have this amazing utility that's going to solve the number one problem in crypto, and that's shiny object syndrome. It is plaguing every investor. I went to Miami and I stayed there for about 2 or 3 days, and I met investor after investor after investor, and not one single person disagreed with me that the shiny object syndrome is a problem, a serious problem, that it's the number one problem. They all agreed. The funny thing is, no one's had a solution to it. Nobody knows what to do. And the truth is, it is threatening crypto. It's threatening decentralization. It's making the regulations and the regulators and the authorities look at it and say, you know, we're getting so many complaints about these scams and people losing their money. They want to step in. And that's the last thing we want as crypto investors, right? We want it to stay decentralized. And so I want to show you that's another thing that is the mission behind Sosana and why it's so important what we're doing and why you guys should consider adding us to your portfolio. Just think about this. When I do these comparisons, as everybody that's been on this call with me multiple times, you realize that there's so many of them. I can pick out a different one every single time, and I'm going to pick out a different one tonight. It's called Mogcoin. I've literally just decided to pick it out just now, okay? And you'll see it has an almost $40 million market cap. You'll see that this chart is way down as we looked at, you know, we talked about the trend, right? Bitcoin's down. That means everything else is down, and you can see that from its all-time high, it is drastically down. And this is very common amongst meme coins. But what will amaze you is that the volume, even though it's down dramatically, it still has a volume of 8.28 million in volume over the last 24 hours. That's crazy. Look at this chart. It's not going anywhere. What the heck is going on? Well, the reality is, if you look at that 8.28 million in volume, what most people don't realize or think about is that 85% of that volume is not even people. It's bots. It's trading bots. And as you guys recall, Brian was talking about how our 3% tax, and I don't like taxes any more than anybody else, but I do love the Sosana tax, and you guys will too, because what the tax does is it takes all of that money and all that potential profit from the trading bots, and it turns it right back around and rewards the community. And that's what it does. And Brian laid that out for you guys, and we'll talk about that more in a second. But let's take that 8.28 million, and let's just multiply that by 14. Why? Because every 14 days we hold an election, right? That is the election process. And if you look at that, that's 115 million in volume, which is a crazy amount of volume for a market cap that's only 40 million. That's ridiculous. But as I said, over 85% of that is actually not people. So I'm going to be real conservative, and I'm going to take that times 10%. Why? Because that means not that we're going to assume that 90% of this is bot volume. It's not real. So I'm going to take that times 10%. And if we just did 10% of that volume, whoops, I took that times 10. My bad. Hold on a second. Let's go back. All right, so we take that times 14, which is the volume, and then we take that times 0.10, 10%. Okay. Now that means that once we reach a level of success like Mogcoin has, you saw its peak. You saw that Mogcoin hit this pretty drastic peak. So if we were to go up and come back down and be where Mogcoin is right now, we think it's realistic that we could, in a 14-day period, do in excess of over $11 million. And somewhere along those lines, along that process of us, getting to what we call the tipping point. Okay, and I'll tell you what that means here in a second. But if we took that times 0.01, that's what feeds our reward pool. Oh my gosh, am I messing this up? Hold on a second. Okay, let's go back to 11.5 million. Brian, what's wrong with me tonight? Hold on a second. All right, here we go. Okay, take that times 0.01. All right. That means $115,000 is sitting on our reward pool. Now, you guys already saw. Let's take a look at the last project that won our election. Just take a look at this. This was Claw. Claw's up pretty good. This is when the election happened. And so if you would have bought Claw right after the election, this was literally who won a week from last Monday, right? This is the project that won. And since then, it's done really well. It was around just less than 140,000 market cap, somewhere in there. So if you'd have got it, it's over 300,000 market cap today. You've more than doubled your money. So you're pretty happy. As a matter of fact, you almost tripled your money at its peak. Pretty happy, right? But look at that low market cap. The community decided that they really liked the ClawX project. They promoted and voted for a $300,000 market cap. Let me ask you something. What would happen if we had a reward pool put $115,000 in that market cap? And let me take it a step further. Actually, I got to divide that by 2 because half of it goes to Sosana. So it's actually 57,500. So imagine a big buy like that going in, but let's go a step further because Brian did an incredible job of helping us understand if we had lots of voters. Well, what if we had 1,500 voters? Just 1,500. And we took that times 100 each because they decided they might want to add that to their portfolio. That's an additional $150,000 in volume going into that liquidity pool. What do you think it would do to that project when you consider our reward pool and the voters deciding that they want to add this to the portfolio? It could have a potential massive impact. Folks, again, this is just cause and effect. I'm not giving you guys numbers that make predictions, but I'm telling you, this is where we believe we are headed, and this is why we believe that the Sosana project is destined to go viral as we grow. Okay, I personally believe that it's practically inevitable, but you guys have to make that decision. Again, I'm not giving you guys advice. I'm helping bring the facts. We're bringing you our vision. You guys can decide where you think that goes. But let's also talk about the token price. Because remember, Brian talked about all of the potential of the Sosana token, looking at its supply, what is possible. Okay. So again, we're going to draw numbers. Okay. We're going to look at this market. I'm going to go right back to meme coins. Okay. And the same example that I had was a small example, but I believe, and there's a lot of people that believe, that our project could become a multi-billion-dollar market cap. We really believe that. And I like to pick on Pepe. And the reason why I do is because Pepe has been a very successful meme coin project, and yet it is down dramatically because, as we know, we are in a fear-based market, right? So it's down like crazy, and yet it's doing unbelievable volumes, over 134 million. If you took 10% of that, that's 13 million a day. Is that possible? I think that's possible for us. And that's pretty exciting, right? You can only imagine where that would head, where that would lead. But look at this market cap, 1.14 billion. So if we were to actually reach 1.14 billion in market cap, okay, it would look like that. And what you would do is you would actually divide that by our current circulation. Right now, he told us that we had 88,888,888 tokens in our supply. But in actual circulation, there's probably only about 40 million. Let's say that by the time we get there, we've got, let's just say 50 million. Okay, so we'll divide that by 50 million tokens. And I'm just throwing out numbers, right? Just, again, cause and effect, not making predictions, but just saying if this happens, that happens. Well, what would that look like? That's a $22.80 Sosana potential token, if that happens, right? What does that mean today? That, our token right now is just less than 15 cents. We've seen some pretty good growth lately, right? But let's divide that by 0.15. That means your opportunity today, if, not when, but if we were to reach that level, would give you 152 times potential on your investment. Now, some of you might look at that number and say, come on, Mark, that's not going to happen. Not to me. They feel like I'm not going to win the lottery or whatever. That's not what we're talking about, folks. This is crypto. And don't you know that this effect has happened thousands of times in crypto? Okay, not dozens, not hundreds, thousands of times, over and over and over again in crypto. It's happened over and over. This unregulated, decentralized industry. It happened in Bitcoin, Ethereum. It happened in all the big projects. It also happened in a lot of small projects all over the world that have come and gone, where people have gotten in them at the right time. This can happen because it has happened. The question is, will it happen to Sosana? You guys have to make that decision. We're going to stay committed until we can make something like this happen. And that's actually what we believe the potential of Sosana is. And that's why we invite you guys tonight. We invite you guys to become a part of the Sosana family. And you can decide if you want to just be an investor, you want to hold our token because you're excited about the project. We recommend that everybody participates in the utility in helping you find other quality projects. But I got to go back to this idea of transcending. Okay, remember when I told you about that? I told you that I believe the Sosana project can potentially, in theory, transcend the market. Why? Because every crypto project you ever look at, I don't care if it's Bitcoin, King Daddy Bitcoin, all the way down to the 1,000th ranked project out there and beyond. Every single project that you look at, your focus is to hopefully buy that project at an early price. Hope to get in as early as you possibly can and make as much profit as you can. Hit your profit goal, sell it, and then look for another investment. That's pretty much the way most people handle crypto. I mean, that's it, right? I mean, even if you love Bitcoin, you're not going to be so in love with it that someday you're not going to sell it. There is going to be a time when you buy it and eventually sell it, okay? And that's it. That's pretty much all you're thinking about when it comes to token projects. Now, yes, you might be in love with the utility, you might love the community, and that's fine. But one day you're going to sell it for profit. Otherwise, why are you buying it? There's no point in buying it if you're not going to sell it. If you're not going to make money, what are you doing, right? That's the whole point. But not so with Sosana. Why? Because unlike every other crypto project in history that you've ever seen, at Sosana, we bring you something brand new every 2 weeks. And the bigger we get, the better we're going to get at doing it. The better the projects, the better the nominations, the better the voting, the better the sorting and sifting. And guess what? The bigger the rewards we'll get. Can you imagine these reward pools being into the hundreds of thousands and eventually millions? Why would a person at some point, once we go viral, once we're popping it, folks, once this is happening, and I believe it's going to happen, okay? I can't guarantee it, but I believe it. You have to take this information tonight and decide if you believe it. But once that happens, we will go viral. And I don't see our community saying, Bitcoin went down 30%. I think I'm going to sell all my Sosana and get out of Sosana because I really don't care about the next election and what we might discover in the next 2 weeks. I don't think so. I think the people in Sosana in our community are going to be a lot more resilient because they're waiting for something exciting to happen every 2 weeks. And folks, what you're looking at right now is undiscovered territory. Right now, we have less than 1,800 holders right now. We are an infant in this crypto space, and we are just about to blow the doors off when it comes to marketing. Behind the scenes, you do not understand what's going on. All I can tell you, because I don't make guarantees or predictions, all I can tell you is we are very, very focused now, unlike any time ever in Sosana history, on marketing. Okay, that's what David's doing. You guys know David has been in development, and he is focused on that. Now he has changed his focus. I've changed my focus, Brian's focus, a lot of other influencers. We're realizing now's the time to grow, okay, because everything's in place. The infrastructure's there. I liken it to a Lamborghini sitting in the parking lot without gas. Now we're going to put gas in the car and drive it. And that's where we're going, folks. So your timing, if you're just now showing up, I got to say, there's a lot of people out there that are probably really jealous of you because you get to show up and collect on all this development, all this time. And now's the time. And now you're going to show up. Your timing couldn't be better. So we invite you to join the Sosana family, whether it be buying tokens, becoming an affiliate. If you want to refer other people and you're that kind of person, you're excited about growing our community, you want to get out there because you know other crypto investors and you want to bring them into this safe haven, you want to bring them into this potential incredible opportunity, you could do that. Or you may just say, you know what, I just believe in the project. I think it's an amazing vision. I just want to hold and collect Sosana tokens. Whatever you want to do, we welcome you to the Sosana family. Folks, it's Thursday night. This is the last call of the week. I can't believe it. Thursday always surprises me every time it comes around. But I want to tell you, we will be back Monday night. And on Monday night, we're going to be showing you the winner of the next election. We currently have 8 token projects that made it to the nomination process. They are now being voted for by our community. So I would highly recommend, if you haven't done so already, get in. Minimum, all you got to hold is $50 in Sosana to vote. Get in and vote and give yourself a chance to discover a potential new project, which again, I know we're small. I know there's not a lot of nominations yet. Our goal is to get it up to 25 nominations, and currently no more than that. We might raise the level a little bit, but our goal is to get to 25 nominations, better nominations, bigger community, and make this election explode every 2 weeks. That's our goal. If you want to get in with that vision and join us, we welcome you. We will see you next Monday. Thanks so much, Sosana family, for coming on. All you new people, welcome to Sosana. And we will see you Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place. We'll see you all then.
Thanks for stopping by, guys. I'll see you tomorrow 9 a.m. for some trading. Cheers, guys. Have a great night, and God bless. See you tomorrow for the daily win, my friend.